everyone. Welcome to Rural Rhythms. Today I'm coming like this because I want to talk about a very delicate issue, and I'm coming like this in defense of my brothers, my Kasi brothers, who are dying, basically. And dying is not a problem. We are all dying. But not knowing why you're dying is a problem. And I think this goes together with the discussion that I want us to have today. You know, how things have changed from the times I was growing up until now, and I think that it warrants a discussion, a very vital discussion that us as Africans are supposed to have. Once again, it's about the institutions that we have adopted from the West. And I want to talk about Christianity as it existed then, as it exists now, and where it's going. When I think about the beginning, when Christianity came, there was a lot of war, basically, between Christianity and the African spirituality, so to speak. Pastors were very quick and very vocal then and now, to be quite honest, about how we should avoid sangomas, how we should avoid spiritual healers that we knew back then, that used to do things back then, and adopt this new system. And for us, this new baby came with promises, vast promises of things that, well, to be quite honest, we don't get to see nowadays. There is a gap between how Christianity was sold to us and how it has revealed itself. And this is what needs to be interrogated. Because I remember back in the days, there was a time just before my birth in my village where there was a lot of burning of witches. And the biggest thing that they were being banned for, they were being taken out of existence for, was their ability to create a zombie out of people, to zombify people. As we became of age, we came to understand that even sangomas had this power in them, that they can easily zombify people. And why they didn't use such powers, or when they used such powers, we didn't really know. But the understanding was that it is wrong to create a zombie out of anyone without the person agreeing that they want such an existence. But fast forward 20 years, when I look at Christianity as it exists today, the type of churches, charismatic churches, all different types of churches, with the exception of some of the churches, your traditional churches, what you get to observe is the zombification of a people, so to speak. And sangomas will tell you that, you know, bragging, you go to YouTube, check videos of sangomas that are bragging that we are the ones who are helping pastors to attract people and to keep them in their churches. So that nowadays it's no longer the message of the crucified Messiah and all the other messages that churches have been really pushing over the years. But it is their ability to zombify people that has managed to increase the numbers in African churches, because at some point they were dwindling numbers. Christianity was battling to maintain itself. It was battling to exist because the messages that were coming were not really speaking to the African child in a way that it was before, because the situation had changed. The circumstances had changed because politics gradually increased more and more and more hardships, and the church couldn't match. It couldn't bring certain solutions that the people wanted. And the idea of this Jesus that continues to be the answer to all the problems wasn't enough. The African was getting demoralized, and we were running away from churches like nobody's business, because they were not providing the type of things that we wanted. That fostered some sort of evolution. We have over the years seen a change. The African pastor has been evolving in a very dangerous way. And nowadays they are employing the help of sangomas so that they can continue to exist. Churches can continue to exist. And it is funny that in the beginning, Christianity was damning the African religious expression, the African voodoo and all that. And lo and behold, nowadays, pastors are the ones who are going to sangomas to get powers so that they can retain members and continue to feed all of them to get money. Now I'm asking you, the witches that we banned back in the days used to do exactly the same thing. They used to zombify people so that they can get them to work for them and gain money out of it. What is the difference between those people and the African pastors of today, who zombify people, make sure that they stay in their churches so that they can continue to eat from them? And do that to such an extent that they have to now employ the witchcraft of African sangomas to help them do that. The African Christian experiment, unfortunately, is coming to an end, or has ended already. What we are now seeing is not a Christian expression, but the old African spiritualism, the bad kind, and how powerful it is in grabbing people and zombifying them and making them stay. What am I saying? I'm saying what is masquerading as Christianity, the full churches that we are seeing nowadays in Africa, the millions and millions of followers that most of the pastors are seeing in their churches, they didn't get them because the Jesus died for you message, the God answers everything message is working. It is the old age African spirituality at play. Pastors are zombifying people so that they don't go, so that they stay, so that they can gain as much as they can from them. And this is a problem that many people are not seeing, many people are not talking about. Because God forbid we go against Jesus or God or whoever. And pastors have to tell us. Because we have pastors who have PhDs and degrees and stuff like that, who are very dedicated to this movement of Christianity. But I believe even those still have to answer. They still have to tell us. Who are we? Because this is one of the questions that most pastors have realized don't want to answer. Who is our God, basically? Because as far as the Christian experiment, it's dying if it's not dead already. And what are we going to replace it with? Now the problem is that the pastors that know this, most of them are under an oath of death that they shouldn't speak such things, that such knowledge should not be taken and given to the African child. So that even when the pastor is really genuinely seeking to do what is right, on the other side, they still can't. The African experiment, the African Christian experiment, has gone too far. And I believe there are questions that needs to be answered. Who are we? And until we can answer some of those questions, we'll just be wasting our time. Our expressions needs to be about who we are. When we spoke earlier, on the welcome message of this group, of this YouTube channel, I emphasized on the issue of expression. The African child desires to express himself without knowing who you are, who your God is, who the Creator is, with respect, with in relation to an African child, will not be able to understand some of the things that are happening these days. Like I said, I'm here in defense of my brothers. Yeah.